Hey guys, I've got an inexpensive shop upgrade that I think you're gonna love. I've added this air pipe system and it allows me to easily connect my air blower or any of my pneumatic tools at multiple locations at my shop, all for about $100 in total cost. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds cool, but why would I need that? Well, it all starts with those pesky air hoses. I just got tired of dragging them across my shop, always being a few feet short and getting tangled on my machines or ending up in a big knot. Once I got the system installed, there was no turning back. For one thing, having an airport located outside my shop was great. Now I could blow off parts without the dust just ending up somewhere else in my shop. Not only the parts, but me too. I also appreciate being able to air up bicycles, or even a wheelbarrow without having to try to squeeze them through the door of my shop. Of course, just having additional ports in the shop also makes it easier to connect tools, like brad nailers, pinners, or an air blower. So now that I've got you thinking about how useful adding an air pipe system can be, let's go back in time and I'll show you the steps on how I set up mine. While I am far from an expert, I have learned enough in the process to help you make the best decisions for your situation and avoid a few of the pitfalls. Like most any project, you should first start thinking about developing a plan before purchasing materials or jumping into the installation. If you Google air pipe systems, you're going to see that there are lots of choices. And a kit that is more expensive might not necessarily be better for your shop depending on a number of factors. A good place to start is to decide what size pipe you'll need. An online airflow calculator will provide a lot of insight. I'll put a link in the description to the calculator that I used so you can follow along with my thought process. Now, if you have a shop that is more than 1,000 square feet, or have multiple people at one time using air tools, such as a commercial installation, you're going to need a large diameter pipe and do a bit more homework. But for smaller shops that typically have one air tool at a time usage, you'll be able to use one of three pipe sizes: 3/4, 1/2, or 1/4 inch diameter pipe. My shop is a 3-car garage that is about 600 square feet. And after goofing around with the numbers in the airflow calculator, I quickly decided that 3/4 inch pipe would be overkill. Which is a good thing, because the 3/4 inch pipe systems are the most expensive, and the larger pipe can be harder to work with. On the other end of the spectrum, 1/4 inch pipe is just too small for anything over 10 feet. It's not going to have enough airflow for something like a blower. The 1/2 inch flex line is sort of the Goldilocks of the three. It has a big enough diameter to support good airflow through the line, it's easy to work with, and the price won't break the bank. Speaking of price, a bundled kit that includes a run of pipe and an assortment of hardware is a great way to go. The bundled kit gives you all or most of what you need to get started, for way less than purchasing the parts separately. I found this 1/2 inch kit on Amazon for $75, which includes 100 feet of pipe, hardware for 3 drops, a pipe cutting tool, and includes lots of hangers for the pipe. I also like that this kit gives you push-to-fit connectors. These work much like shark bite plumbing fixtures, if you're familiar with those. Many other kits use compression fittings for the hardware. Now, there's nothing wrong with compression fittings. They just are not as friendly as the push-to-fit. And not only is the push-to-connect fitting easy to assemble, they allow you to remove the pipe from the fitting by just pressing the fitting collar. One other myth that I should address is what size air compressor you should have. You really don't need to have one of those large air compressors to add an air pipe system. While having one of those big 80-gallon compressors is terrific, it isn't necessary. A small, inexpensive 6-gallon pancake, like the one I have, will work just fine. Once I had the kit in hand, it was time to detail out the exact layout of my system. I found it works great to do a mini mock-up of your design right on the bench top using the materials from the kit. I just used some cord to represent the hose line and played around with a couple different designs. One thing I kept in mind was to use the flexibility of the 1/2-inch pipe to my advantage by limiting the number of fittings. Making corners and turns with this pipe is easy. That way I did not have to use fittings for the turns, and less fittings equals less chance of leak points. My first attempt was to create a branch layout. This is where you have a main trunk and branches to each of the drops. The advantage here is that this typically uses the least number of parts. Alternatively, I also came up with a looped layout. In this design, you have a main loop with each of the drops off the loop. The advantage of this layout is that the air pressure and flow is more balanced to each drop. After some back and forth, I decided the loop design was more desirable. Even though I was short a few more fittings with this layout, the loop design would allow for easier expansion should I want more drops in the future. Once you have each of your proposed layouts finished, be sure and take a picture of it so you can reference back to it as you need to. I went ahead and ordered the rest of the needed parts, and I was thinking ahead to my installation. I wanted to limit the chance of leaks. The last thing you want is to find a leak after install and have to redo it. I took each manifold and connected it directly to my air compressor and pressurized it. This proved to be a useful exercise. I quickly figured out that the push-to-fit fittings require that you use a bit more muscle than I first realized. If you look at this push-to-fit connector and you look inside of it, there's these little teeth that grab the tubing. And below that, I don't know if it comes through on the camera, but there's a black O-ring that runs around it that creates the seal. So when you push in a piece of tubing, it feels like, oh, it's in right now, but it's really not past that O-ring yet. You've got to push a little extra to get it to go in past that O-ring to get it to seat, and then it seals great. The second lesson is there was a number of small leaks at the threaded connections. I did not find these leaks until I did the soapy water test. Just get a wet sponge with some dish soap on it and make some bubbles. Slather the bubbles on each of the connections. Even the slowest leak will increase the size of the bubbles, letting you know you have an issue. At first, I had many leaks, and it took me some trial and error, but the biggest issue I found was that the Teflon tape that came with the kit wasn't that terrific. Most of my leak problems disappeared when I switched to a thicker, higher quality tape. Okay, with these lessons in hand, it was time to start installing. I started with the source, the air compressor connection. This might be a good time to mention one other upgrade that I made that you might want to adopt. You know, I got sick and tired of hearing my air compressor run. It is ridiculously loud. So I went ahead and put the air compressor in a cabinet below my bench. The cabinet is lined with this carpet foam to keep the noise down. And I built a pull-out shelf for the compressor, which makes it a lot easier to get to for servicing. I also added a quick disconnect on the compressor and a short flex hose between it and the air pipe system. This will allow me to easily disconnect the compressor and take it to a job if I need to. Anyway, back to the install. I just snaked the first leg of the pipe from my air compressor cabinet up to the ceiling where it connects to my first tee. I use a few of the plastic hold downs to get the pipe to go roughly where I want it to go. I'll come back after it's all installed and I'll add extra hold downs to make it all neater. I make my way with the line to my first drop. This will be my outdoor manifold. After drilling a hole through the wall, I use a 10-inch long nipple and push it through the hole I just created. I built a PVC block with the air manifold attached and mounted it to the outside wall. The block takes up the extra space created by the nipple and spaces the assembly away from the wall, making it easier to attach and remove an air hose. My knuckles will thank me later. You know, if you like these kinds of projects and are getting something from this video, take a few seconds and give it a thumbs up. And hitting the subscribe button would really help me out. Appreciate it. Back inside the garage, I start routing the pipe to my next planned drop. It really is just rinse and repeat once you get the hang of it. Turns out most of the work with the install is moving all my stuff out of the way so I can get the pipe up. I didn't realize how many jigs I had stored up there. The next drop was near my shop sink. There was already some conduit and water pipes running along the ceiling, so it took a little bit of extra work to get the air pipe to go where I wanted it to. Then traverse the pipe across the ceiling to my final drop. I mounted the last air manifold on a scrap piece of wood to get it to a reachable height. Then it was a long run back to the original tee to complete the loop. Before I tidy up the lines with more pipe hangers, I'll pressurize the whole system and check for leaks. Same as before, first just listen for the obvious leaks, and then check the junctions with soapy water. I found a couple issues and corrected them. Then pressurized the system and left it overnight for a final test. I'm really enjoying the convenience of this new air pipe system. I found that I just now use this smaller coiled line. I jack into the pipe system and there's less chance of getting it all tangled up on things. And the outside port, it's great for blowing stuff off that would otherwise settle in my shop. I hope this inspires you to add a system to your own shop. And I should also mention that I receive no money or product from the companies that I mentioned. But I'll put a link to the products that I used in the description below. I encourage you to shop around a bit and find out what works best for you. Oh, and one more thing. If you enjoy this video, I would really appreciate you hitting the thumbs up button so more people would get a chance to see it. And if you enjoy these kinds of projects, consider subscribing to the channel. I've already got several exciting videos in the works that I think you'll enjoy. Bye for now.